Welcome to the channel of the Unmasked, where we have real conversations about real life, real situations, so we can walk in our purpose, full, fulfilled, and truly living our best life as God has already designed for us. So if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Michelle, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it today and talk about the importance of decisions. Have you all had to make a decision today? Whether it is getting your clothes out that you were going to wear today, your hairstyle, because I love different hairstyles, so I have to make a decision on how I feel at that moment. Whenever you went to school, you had to make a decision on choices for your job, your career, everything that we typically do, your mate, who you choose to date, who not to date, all these things require us to make decisions. And the full grounding for decisions is for us to, first of all, have wisdom. We have to have wisdom in making every decision in our lives. The definition of wisdom is the ability to use knowledge and experience to make good judgments and understand the world around you. It can refer to the knowledge of having insight. That means the ability to see the inner qualities in relationships. Judgment, the ability to make good decisions. Knowledge, the ability to take all this knowledge and understanding from gained experience. And common sense. Common sense is something that is so important because it gives you the knowledge and the experience to be able to understand reasonably and to be able to approach things from a proper perspective. Common sense. Many times people will say, "Oh my gosh, she got book sense, but she doesn't have any common sense." We have to be able to operate in life, making decisions daily. Who you're going to connect with, who you're going to disconnect with. You have to have the wisdom to be able to discern relationships, whether this relationship is for you to pursue, whether this person is really for you or not. You have to make the decision based upon the information that you have on how to move. And it is important for us to be able to move and not move irrationally. You think about decisions that you have made, and I even think for myself, I'm going to be transparent. There have been times that I've made decisions and I was like, why did I do that? Have you all made decisions you be thinking, okay, if I could just turn back the hands of time, if I could just go back and do a rewrite, I would do that thing totally different. We have to be sure that we are not making decisions that's going to change the trajectory of our lives. Wherein people who have made decisions due to road rage and now they're dealing with life in prison because they decided to act irrationally and kill someone. You think about people who have just made decisions and they said, "I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to go rob someone," and they were with someone in the car and now they having to deal with charges because of the decisions that they made. You think about people who even connected in relationships. I'm going to be real. Have made relationships. You have connected because at that moment in time, that was your boo, that was the person that you loved or whatever. And then it comes out, reality comes, they really weren't for you, but now you all have created a child and now you have a lifelong connection. Proverbs 3, 5, and 7, and this is what I love, is do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. The New Living Translation is what I love. It says, do not be impressed with your own wisdom. I don't care what degree that you have. You cannot make your decisions without some type of wise counsel and wisdom from God. I'm going to say that again. You cannot be so impressed with your own wisdom that there will be no degree. I don't care if you have the doctoral degree and all the way, you need to have some form of wise counsel and some wisdom has to come from God. You can never be at a place wherein you be prideful that you do not take a step back to allow yourself to say, okay, I need to do something here. I have been trying to do this thing. I know that I have made decisions. And the thing about it is, it's part of being human. So if you have made those decisions, forgive yourself, because it's part of us being human. But we have to realize that, number one, we cannot be impressed with our own selves, because that's pride. When people tell us, don't try to get too grown for yourself. And many times we feel like, because we are adults, or we are people, we should know better. So we have to just make decisions on what we think is best. But it's important to take a moment sometimes and just pause, because there'll be sometimes you have to make some quick decisions. But when you have to be at that place, you have to make quick decisions. Number one, you have to build up the ability to not make emotional decisions. I'm going to say that again. We can never make decisions that are emotional decisions, because there have been many arguments and relationships that have been tarnished or hurt because we have said some things, because we've made some decisions and some things that we have done. So we have to ensure that we do not make these irrational decisions because we are in our feelings. Because my feelings are hurt, I'm going to do this. Because I'm mad, I'm going to go do this. As I said before, there are many people that have made decisions that has cost them their lives. Yes, they can be at a place of redemption, but if you were talk to a lot of people that are even in prison today, that if they could go back and really think about it, they wouldn't want to be there. But many of us may not be in prison physically, but emotionally and spiritually, because of the decisions that we have made. Now we're stagnant in life. Now we're not moving forward. Now we're not able to really advance, because we're holding on to so much, because we're holding on to unforgiveness. We're holding on and saying, okay, I had to give them a piece of my mind, and I couldn't even let that go, because we have gotten into arguments that we have been holding on to. We have been holding on to so many things, and now we're at a place where we're like, no, I can't forgive them. I can't do this. I can't move forward. But why? Because we made that decision. It's not always the actions. It's our reaction to what we're going to do. What's going to be your response when you're betrayed? What has been your response when they walked out on you? What has been your response when people have hurt you? What has been your response? You've made that decision to not forgive, or you made that decision for false forgiveness, or you made that decision to say, okay, it's done. I'm not going to let anyone else in my life like this anymore. Do not be impressed with your own wisdom. Fear the Lord. Many people really don't have that reverence to really fear God, to really ask Him for things. When was the last time that you really sought Him and you really prayed to God and you trusted the decision that He made? What we many times do, will make a decision, and then after the decision has been made and it didn't work out the way that we thought, we begin to question God, and then we finally come to God, right? You think about children after they've done something, and the mom and dad may tell them, don't go do this, don't go do that. They go do it anyway. And then when they go do it anyway, once they get out there, there's something happens. Then we want to holler mama and daddy. Mama, daddy, I need help. No. You made that decision. They say you made that bed, now you got to lay in it. We don't understand sometimes the importance of us in our decisions. And if we are at a place wherein we are having this fear of the Lord, that we are truly seeking wisdom, this will help us in making decisions when we have to make quick decisions. Whenever we are at a place wherein we are trusting, we've been at a place of prayer, we've been at a place of seeking, that when we have that discernment, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because sometimes we'll say, well, something told me to not do that. Well, that something is Holy Spirit. That something is telling you, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that. That is Holy Spirit talking to you, saying, hey, don't do that. Don't you respond to that text. Don't you send that email and let them know how you feel. Don't you tell those people. Like, we hear, But we have to be able to be at a place wherein we do not be wise in our own eyes and the things that we see. There are so many things sometimes that's going on behind the scenes that we are not aware of, and we make decisions on what we have now. And when I'm talking about having that fear, that's that reverence, that honor of saying, I want to be able to make godly decisions. I don't want to make decisions on how I feel. I don't want to make decisions because I'm mad right now. I need to be in this season making decisions of making impact. Because what we fail to realize is some of the decisions that we make, it not only just affects us, it affects many people that are around us. You think about people you even connect to whenever you get married and you end up having children. Because you made that decision, it affects your generation. You think about times whenever you make decisions, or I'm just going to live my life and I'm just going to do drugs. People don't realize because you're involved in that. Now those decisions that you have made has affected other people. It affects your family because they want to see you do better. They see that you want to be able to go at a greater place. They see the love that they have for you. But because of that decision, it's not a YOLO. It's not live your life. Living your life. Your life. It's not that. It's never that. We can never allow ourselves to just say, okay, I'm just going to just live my life. I'm just going to just live it up and say, I'll only live once. You only live once. You got to be able to live this thing up. Yes. But you don't realize sometimes you living it up, it's costing some other things. People get caught in adultery because you only live once, because of decisions. And now it has affected other people. Okay, well, I only live once, so I'm just going to go ahead and just do whatever I want to do. Okay, but you do not understand. But every action, there's a reaction, and there are consequences sometimes to this. Do you want the consequences to be this, or do you want the benefits and the blessings? Sometimes we want to be able to make decisions and not have any accountability. We'll say, well, so-and-so was involved in this, so this is why I did it. And we'll blame us. We have to be at a place where we hold ourselves accountable. I'm not saying holding on to guilt, holding on to shame, but we have to hold ourselves accountable in this season if we want to see better in our lives. If we want to see our lives change, we have to make the decision to chase wisdom. When I say chasing wisdom, that you are looking for it, that I'm not leaning to my own understanding, but I am acknowledging God, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, in all of my ways. Not just not just in relationships, not just in my finances, not just in that, but in every area. I am acknowledging Him every step of my life. And then whenever I hear something, I have to entrust to move. Because many times we stay at a place too long. You think about a body of water that stays at a place and it's not moving. Many of us don't even trust ourselves. We don't really trust God. We don't even trust the decisions because maybe we have made some decisions, so we don't move, and then we become stagnant. I encourage you that when you hear, you move. That if it is that time to move, that you be obedient and trust that this decision that I made, it may not be a popular one. It may not be one for the culture, but this is what I have been feeling in spirit, and this is what I have to trust in my knower. When people talk about that knower, this is that thing inside of you that you have to trust what they say, your gut. When people talk about that something told me, and I say this, Holy Spirit, that's your gut saying, okay, I don't really trust this. You think about people be like, when I walked into the room and something told me something didn't feel right, or whenever I go in and I make this opportunity, sometimes it just felt right. I want you to be at a place wherein you trusting, when I am not relying on my own wisdom and my own eyes of what I see. Because for us to be able to walk and lead effectively, for us to be able to continually walk in purpose, we have to entrust things outside of our vision. Now, for me, I don't have 20/20 vision. This right eye is just some type of something. I don't even know what's going on with it. And if I do not have in my contacts or have my glasses on, things begin to get a little blurry. And sometimes you be trying to find your way. You're like, okay, I got to get these glasses because something is going on here. But we have to kind of be at a place where we're walking in a wisdom that's outside of our own eyes, that we have to entrust this thing with inside of us. Because when we trust the things with the only things that we see, sometimes that thing looks horrible. Sometimes that thing looks like it's a mess. It looks like it's not going to work out. But we have to ensure and to entrust the process. So number one, we have to tap into getting and trusting wisdom outside of ourselves. We have to, number one, have that fear of the Lord. Number two, we have to not lean in on our own understanding, but looking at a holistic view of how I'm going to be able to make this decision. I need to be able to make sure that I have wisdom in every decision that I make in my life. I don't need to just be going out on my emotions. I need to ensure that I have the fear of the Lord. I have, number two, to trust outside of myself. And number three, I have some people that hold me accountable, that I can seek some wise counsel that I entrust. Now, in seeking this wise counsel, I can get the counsel, but I ultimately make the decision. They don't make the decision. I ultimately make the decision, but I have to ensure that I have some people that hold me accountable along the journey. I don't need people that's just going to go with me and be like, oh, yes, girl. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, girl. And then they looking at you like, what? I can't believe she did that. You know how it is. You don't need to get along, gang. You need some people that's going to hold you accountable. You need your accountability partners. That if I need to seek wise counsel, that I have people that I can turn to, that I entrust with my life to be able to make these decisions. So let's make a start today to seek more wisdom. That is not like that you can never get enough of that. That moment of prayer, moment of meditation, that moment of solitude, that I'm stepping outside of myself to be able to glean and reflect upon maybe decisions that I have made in my life that I need to forgive, that I need to be able to move forward from. But even in that, while I'm making these decisions in life, realizing that I know that I only live once, right? So if I'm living on this earth once, how can I make sure that it counts? How can I be sure that the choices that I make are impactful in a good way? I want to ensure that the decisions that I make, that I am walking with a confidence, knowing that I have a God that's looking out for me, that I am entrusting that what I feel is okay. I am releasing the things from the times that I did not make those decisions, because I need to be able to have that confidence and trusting that I am moving in the right direction. And in that, I am ensuring that I am holding on to the fact that I have people that are holding me accountable along this journey. So walk in peace. Let's think about some decisions that we're going to make today. And as always, I say, walk in purpose. Bye now.